comedy is hard to do anyway, but you're also doing comedy on purpose. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Because
Yeah, yeah. We're
you're not just
performing as comedians. Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
What was the most challenging part of doing comedy on purpose? So you're being funny, but you're also telling people you're trying to be funny. What was the
Mhm,
most challenging
mhm.
part of it?
See, first of all, thank you so much. It really makes your day when your audience, tells you that, the film that you worked on and worked really hard on has been their personal favorite, or of one of the favorites of the year. See, as an actor, I think every genre, every character that you work on is a challenge in itself. And comedy, as much as it's popular, but it's also one of the most difficult genres because you have to make somebody laugh, and you never know how the audience is reacting, because somebody can be like, "Ha, so what? That wasn't funny," So you don't know. You're constantly, walking on the thin line. Um, of course, I did a lot of prep for the character. For me, it was just another character. I love studying human being. I love human psyche, and like just spending time talking to strangers. And I write my backstory of characters. Where was she born? Where did she grow up? What were her formative years? What made her choose this profession that she did? And also, as an actor, it's very interesting because as actors, we get to play different kind of characters who come with a different job profile, which comes with a different lifestyle, right? So for me, it was very, very new, because as much as you've seen, stand-up comedians, and you've seen gigs, and you've attended shows, but to perform something that is not written by you, because every stand-up comedian will tell you they're all very personal, whatever they share, and it takes a lot of courage. I mean, kudos. I mean, hats off to these stand-up comedians who actually literally mock their salaries, their lifestyles, their breakups. And there's something much deeper, something very yet very sensitive about it. They just say it all funnily, in a funny context, but then there's a much deeper meaning behind that. So trying to crack that, I think, was a very challenging bit, because the script is not written by the actors. It's end of the day written by the writers. So it had to be personalized. So we had extensive workshops and reading sessions between me, Saqib, and our director, Nachiket Samant.
Right.
And we kept doing those workshops, and we kept performing the scenes, till we we got a rhythm of it. Like you wake me up in the middle of the night, and I can just tell you what Zoya Batra is thinking right now, and what is she performing, what's her character arc right now. So to that point, right before we went on floors, if you like, you've seen the film, you also understand that the stand-up pieces are not standalone pieces, but they have a story arc to it. So
Right.
maybe the audience who are watching the stand-up show in the film, they're laughing at the jokes, but as an audience to the film, okay, this is very subtly given by Zoya about this habit of deep, and he's telling about this. It's very contextual, it's not very random. So I think as characters, for me, my first challenge was to, of course, understand Zoya inside out. So even if I improvise, it had to be so natural that you will be convinced that that character has said it or done it. And the stand-up pieces, of course, I have not written them, but I had to sort of add a few words or some mannerisms or things like that, where I say it in my language. I say it in Zoya's, actually in Zoya's language. So that was the most difficult part. Also, it was very important that we find it funny. I mean, end of the day, we are an audience as well, and we are going, for us, it needs to be firstly funny for us. So whenever we thought if we could improvise something that sounds funny or it goes with the character, we did personalize it in that sense. But other than that, I think hats off to the writers, the director, and it was a collaborative effort. And thank you. I mean, I take it on behalf of my team. Thank you.
One of the things I want to ask you is, when you were on stage, when you're doing the comedy couple thing, the one thing I noticed that you and Saqib did, and I'm curious to know if this was part of the script or you sort of
Sorry,
did this on your
what?
own. I want to know if this was part of the script or you did this on your own. When Saqib is speaking, you look at him, you nod, you go, you get a drink of water, you walk around a little bit, you come back. Saqib does the same thing. And actually, before I watched Comedy Couple, I thought to myself, what is that other person going to be doing while the while the
Right.
person is delivering the the, the punchlines, because
Yeah.
isn't it awkward to see somebody else perform comedy?
Mm-hmm.
So was that scripted, that whole back and forth sort of
No,
reacting? No. So
no,
tell me
it
about
was
that.
not. It was not. In
I think
fact,
it
we
was very
had,
well done.
thank you so much. In fact, it was very thought. Well, we had to really think about what to do when the other person is talking. And, they're not just one or two punchlines, it's like a monologue. He goes on and on about his background and his family and his dad and the beer analogy. And she goes on about her mother. So we really have these page long monologues that go out, right? And we used to constantly rehearse them out during the workshops, that what is the other person going to do? I mean, giving him a nod, which moves the story forward or the scene forward, was, of course, part of the script, where, I nudge him and tell him that, okay, now you crack this joke, or he tells me, or we're having a sort of a tiff or a cold vibe on stage. That was, of course, scripted. But moving around the stage to use the space, or to have a drink, or, sip water or something, was purely improvised. And we rehearsed that, and we were like, what are we going to do? Because obviously they're talking constantly. It also looks very natural that, she's going and taking a sip, because she, she must be trying out and she wants it. Or she's just, also, I think it shows their relationship, that, this is your space. And it's a very modern couple, it's a very, very millennial couple. And, one thing that we definitely wanted to underline and establish was that this relationship, they're not clingy, they have their
Right.
own spaces. And one of the ways to establish that was, they give each other space. They're not insecure, they're very secure, as individually as comedians. And when the other person is performing, they give them their space. And it also looks natural when they're walking around. So yeah, that was thought of, and I'm so glad that you noticed it.
Because I was thinking, I was like, I don't know how this is going to work, because we hardly see something on stand-up comedian, and then to
Yes.
have two of them on stage at the same time is going to be odd unless they can figure this out. And you figured it out. So I want to ask you about that for sure.
Yes.
What was your favorite part about playing Zoya? I mean, so Sakib's character Deep is an habitual liar, and in fact, he lies about pretty much everything, right? And
Mm-hmm.
his character he explains his motivation around it, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Zoya, of course, and I want to talk to you about your reaction and action with Puja Baby as well, because you don't actually do it in real life. But what
Mm-hmm.
was your favorite part about playing Zoya?
My favorite part about being Zoya, I love how independent she is. I like how she has those dreams. I mean, she comes from a broken family. She's seen her mom single-handedly bring her up, but that didn't embitter her.
Hmm.
And she has a best friend who's this, I would call a pseudo feminist, and her mother who's, this really pro women and everything, but they are constantly against men. And she doesn't get affected by that. And I like the fact that Zoya is feminist. And, unfortunately or fortunately, because the word starts with fem, people forget that end of the day, the definition is equality. Feminism is not against men. Feminism is against patriarchy. And men are just as much victim of patriarchy as women are. Deep is a victim of patriarchy, I feel. Right? So I like that Zoya is the right kind of feminist. She has a mom and somebody like a Deep, like really very different characters around her. But she's so centered that she has her mind in the right place. She wants to be the wife, she wants to be the housewife. She has her own independence. She's absolutely okay kissing a boyfriend in the lift and living in with him. She'll also fight with with the society guy for not lending house to the couple before they're married. She after they break up, she's also independent to do her own stand-up gigs. So I like that she takes the situations, she takes each day as it comes, and she sees the best in the situation and doesn't get bogged down by people's opinions or how people would want her to react. I like it that she's very centered, and I think she's a good balance. I love that about Zoya. I think that's the part that I resonate the most with her.
And she's very progressive in the sense that
She's very progressive.
I want to talk about being progressive in the comedy space, because she keeps telling Deep to go deeper, right? She keeps
And take a stand.
take a stand, use art to take a stand. And Deep's like, no, let's play it safe, let's play it safe. And you see her push him. And I mean, no spoilers, but what happens when he does take that advice, it's kind of funny, but it's interesting because she is actually the one who says, let's push this agenda a little bit more. You know, we don't have to be so soft and so clean with comedy. So safe, that's right. And I think that was nice because, again, you're deconstructing what it means to be masculine. You're deconstructing what it means to be feminine, right? I quite enjoyed that. Tell me about your chemistry with Puja Baby, because you're on a video call the whole time, so you don't have that reaction bit that you can do. I understand you actually did give Puja Baby her cues for when she was doing it.
You know that.
But when you but when you were doing it, how did you do it so it was natural?
Oh, I did it just like any other phone cuts or video calls we shoot. I mean, actors obviously shoot only when they're around, and so I mean the AD team, assistant directors, they gave me the cues, and I just acted my part. I wasn't supposed to be there on set when Puja ma'am was shooting. It was the last day of our Gurgaon schedule. We shot for a month in Gurgaon from 6th of August to 6th of September this year. We in fact shot through the lockdown during the pandemic. Yes. And hers was the last day of shoot. Every boy on set was excited. They were all so excited.
I was excited.
And I was so excited. And all of these guys were like, oh my God, Pehla Nisha, our first crush. And I was like, oh my God, boys, calm down. But I was just as excited. And it was the last day of our shoot. And it was a gorgeous location. I mean, if you've seen, we were trying to like recreate France. So it was like this really outskirts of Gurgaon, a very nice farmhouse or an Airbnb property that they found where we were shooting. And I met her, and she's just so warm. She's so nice. I mean, we started chatting, and I used to be an AD. I used to be an assistant director to Anurag Kashyap, and I end up being an AD on all my sets. I end up giving clap. And even if I'm not shooting, I love cinema and love being on set so much that I don't even care if I'm not shooting. I'll be there to give the cues because, you know, it's part of the job. You know, it's fun. You know, it's your film, end of the day. So first I wanted to see the location. I wanted to meet Puja ma'am. And I told Nachiket sir, our director, I said, listen, today I'm going to assist you. I'm going to be a fifth AD. I'm going to give the cues to Puja ma'am. And I'm going to give a clap as well. So I just turned up on the sets, and it was nice interacting with her, and I gave her all the cues of all the scenes that we have together. And it was good fun. I mean, technically we didn't really work together, but in a way I found my way to just say that
I have
worked with Puja Baby.
You made it happen. Shweta, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Again, I think Comedy Couple, I actually recommended it to my sister to watch, and she sort of recommended it on because again, it's been refreshing to watch something like that on a digital platform, obviously Z5 Global. So thank you so much, Shweta.
Thank you so much.
All the very best, and hopefully we'll be in touch for something coming up for you.
Absolutely, looking forward, and thank you so much, Amreen. Thank you so much. This really makes it's so special to just hear that, and in regards to your sister as well.
Wonderful. Take care, and thank you so much for joining me. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.